Hello, welcome back again. This is Dario 3X Point. In this video, we're going to be looking at ordering our data and concatenating data. This sounds like a very big word, but they don't actually seem big by the time we see them in action. So first, let's start with ordering data. Before your analysis can start to make sense for you, you have to be able to order your data in some way, in some fashion, in some form. Whether you want to do from A to Z, or you want to do from Z to A, or you want certain dates to come first before another set of dates, or you want, in terms of numbering, you want to order from 1 to 10 or from 10 to 1. You have to be able to decide how you want to do your ordering. So before we actually see that within SQL Server, let's actually see how it's done within Excel, so that way you can appreciate it more, because I would imagine that most of many people use Excel one way or the other in the course of their work. So I'm going to open up this Excel file, and as you can see, it contains a set of data that has territory and full name of some salespeople, total sales, the figures and all this data. So think about this data, and you start to imagine if you had like 100,000 rows, for example. You want to be able to order it, and let's say on the territory column, you want it to be in alphabetical order. So what you would normally do would be to come to data and go to sort and click on sort, and then you can say, okay, what column do I want to order by? I want to order by territory, and I want it to go from A to Z. So if I click on OK, you can see now that we have it from A to Z. So we have Australia, Canada, all the C follow before F, obviously, and then Germany, and all the way down to U. Now, when you have multiple columns, it's also possible that you want to enhance the ordering by saying, after territory has been ordered, I want another column, let's say full name, to be ordered as well. But it's going to happen in an order of priority, depending on what sort of priority that you set on it. So let's say, for example, I want to sort by another column. So I'll add another level to it and say, okay, order by full name, and it has to be from A to Z as well. So if I click on OK, you will see that the data changed a little bit, but we'll see if it actually changed as what we would like it to be. So if you have a look at the full name column, let me bold this so we can see that they're different from the data. So on the full name column here, you see, even though we have L coming first before G, what's actually happening is because territory has been ordered first. So after territory order, which Canada comes afterwards, then it goes into G. But the point where you would appreciate it more is if you have a set of data like we have here. We have a set of data within Canada. So we can see that within Canada we'll have some form of ordering going on. So G comes before J alphabetically. So that's what's going on here. So it's not ordering this on the basis of the entire column. It's actually ordering it based on the ordering that we have on this other column. So if we go into another set of data that is repeating, so we have Northwest here, and looking at the corresponding full name column, you can see that D comes before P and then before T. So this is the power of ordering, and obviously some of you may already know this. So let's do another ordering and say we want it from Z to A this time, and you can see that it's changed, it's turned around, and within Northwest now we have T coming before P before D. So all these things that we've just done can actually be done in SQL as well, and that's what I'm going to show you today. All right, let's jump into our Management Studio and have a look at what this actually looks like with SQL. Okay, now that we're in our Management Studio, let's bring up some data that we can work with. We do have some data in our sales table, and we also have some data in our student table. Select star from student. Okay, and to begin ordering, we can simply just say order by person ID. So you see person ID is being ordered, and that's why we have 1 to 12. And we should bear in mind that if you don't specify ascending or descending, the default is ascending. So if I wanted to actually specify ascending, the syntax is ASC. So if you said ASC, SQL Server will understand what you're saying, and then it brings the data back in ascending order, even though it's the default. I beg your pardon. So if I wanted to sort it in descending order, what I'll do is just say DESC, which is descending. And as you can see, person ID is being sorted in descending order from 12 all the way down to 1. So let's say, on the other hand, we wanted to sort by person ID descending first, then sort by first name ascending. So I could just put a comma there and say first name ascending. And if I hit enter, you can see that first it's ordering by descending, which is 12 to 1. And the next thing that happens is it takes every other column, every other data within the first name and begin to arrange them in ascending order. So imagine if we had more than one 6, for example. Within that 6, we would have a set of ordered data. Let's actually use first name here and see what happens, and use last name here. So first name is being ordered in descending order first. So Victor, Simon, Mary, all the way to A, and then after this is been done, it will now start ordering this in ascending order. This will actually make a lot of sense if we had data similar to the Excel file we had, where we have some repeating set of data, and within that repeating set of data you can actually see what ordering is going on in there. But there is nothing much more to ordering than what you've just seen. It's just a matter of deciding how you want to order your data and then tell SQL Server to do the ordering for you that way. Right, so it looks like we're not actually going to need this sales data today. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is the concatenation. It's quite a long word, but it's an interesting word. So concatenation, yes, concatenation. That's what that means is it's a general term in programming generally, and it's just a way of bringing two separate things together. You can bring two separate strings together. You can bring a string and a numeral together. Okay, so let's say, for example, if I wanted first name and last name to be together. So let's remove the ordering, and let's say we wanted first name, and to concatenate, the syntax is to use the plus sign. So first name plus last name, okay, and just say enter. You can see that now we have both first name and last name together. Let's bring back all the data so that we can see what we have going on. So you can see James Brendlin is now joined together, James Brendlin. We have Victor Ray, which is now Victor Ray, Simon Ade, Daryl Lufumlayo, Dave Chooks, and that's what concatenation has just done for us by using the plus sign to put them together. But this doesn't look like a good data to be presented, does it? We could actually, make it to improve by putting a space between them and making it obvious that they're both two separate words, right? So to do that, we can also concatenate a space. Okay, so to do that, what we will do is to say plus, and then we'll open a single uh, quote. Is that what it's called? Yeah, a single quote, and then put a space, and then put another one there, and put the concatenation there again. So what we're saying is first name concatenate space concatenate last name. And if we run this now, you can see that we have the names separated with a space. So if the space wasn't enough, all you need to do is just put some more space in there and run it again, and you can see we have more space. So you can put anything in there. You can concatenate a lot of things together. Let's say you wanted to put a title, you want to hard coded a title in between. You can just do that, select, and you can see it's there. So this is how to do concatenation. So right, yeah, that's it. Now you would notice again that our column does not have a name anymore, because when you concatenate and put first name and last name together, SQL Server doesn't understand what the column name is anymore. Okay, because it now has a different identity. So you can then use your alias, which is as. We haven't formally spoken about alias, but alias is just a way to give another name to something. Just like when you say you have your name and you have an alias or you have a nickname. So it's like saying, all right, now that this column doesn't have its own name, we can give it an alias, we can give it a nickname, and say its full name. And when you hit enter now, you can see that we now have our full name as the name of the column. So speaking about alias, if I wanted to say select first name from student, and I did that, it brings back first name. But if I didn't want the column to be first name, I could just use an alias and say name, and you can see first name is now being replaced with name. So that's what alias does. So you'll find yourself using alias and quite often. All right, so this is all about concatenation and ordering. There is actually a built-in function within SQL Server that you can use instead of the plus symbol to concatenate your data. So let's say, for example, if I wanted to concatenate first name and last name together, I can do select, and the name of the function is called concat. And if you open parentheses, you can see it says expression, comma, expression, comma, dot, 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 meaning you can concatenate as many expressions as you want together by separating them with a comma. So if I said first name, comma, last name from student, and select, you can see that we are now back to what we had before when we had this, before we had this. See, same thing. So you can choose which one you want to use. Now, this concatenation was actually introduced in SQL Server. I'm not sure, but it must have been in 2005. So that means if you're working on SQL Server 2000 and all the earlier versions of SQL Server, you wouldn't find this concat function there. So what you would be able to use is this plus symbol. So, but for earlier releases of SQL Server, maybe either 2005 or 2008, that was when concat function was shipped. So if you find yourself working in an environment where they use those ones, then you can confidently use concat. But if not, then you have to use this. But it's good for you to know that they both exist so that you won't find yourself stuck when you want to analyze data and present them in a very good way by bringing two expressions together. So in the case where we use a concat function and you wanted to put space in between, all you would do is just, do the same thing we did before and just separate them by comma. And if you select that, you can see that we now have it there, and you can put as much space you want in there, and you see it just brings it back. And you can use your alias as well and say full name, and that's it. So that's it. That's all you need to know about concatenation and ordering data. So we will be doing a lot of work on this as well by the time you start dealing with your business cases and doing some proper analysis. Okay, all right, hang on to your hat, and we're making progress. So see you in the next video. I would imagine we'll be introducing joins and some more interesting concepts in SQL Server. All right, thanks for watching. See you in the next movie. Bye.